Good morning. Today is the 4th of February 2025 and I'm going to go over to make sure my microphones are working. I'm going to go over today's levels. I think all is good. Beginning of the month, so we've had our first month, so today or this week is a good opportunity to just go over your goals for the month. So I've got a few goals this month, health related, more time in the gym, and also trading related, and basically cutting my losing swing trades quicker, and probably just I can't remember, I do write them down as well. My goals were January goals, February goals should be there. So here you go. Cut my swing trades. I only want to play A+ setups, and I want to back test at least 1 week of all of my strategies going back to like 2022. Do 1 week every day if I can. So it's very time consuming back testing, and I kind of neglect it. But I've improved my strategies a lot over the last 6 months, over the last year. But I've barely back tested them, so I need to go back through that. So, and then my health goals is to get my weight down. I keep getting down to the level I want, and then I put it back on again. And also, I want to go to the gym 2 to 3 times a day, plus an extended walk every day, just to be healthier. So that's my goals for February, and I'm saying it out loud and live right now, so I can be held accountable for. So let's crack on with today's levels. Let's look see what news could move the market later. We do have job openings coming out at 10 AM, so it's high volatile news event, so keep an eye on that. That's just in under an hour's time. We do have Fed speaking today as well, 11 o'clock and 2 o'clock. So be wary at these times. So keep an eye on 10, 11. So 10, 11 and 2 if you're still trading at that time. Okay, so my levels today. Yesterday, just go over yesterday's level. Remember yesterday I said just keep an eye on this gap fill here and watch for rejection, and look at that. How about that for a beautiful rejection down. It was after hours. I don't trade after hours, so I wouldn't have taken it anyway. But I'm still watching that level again today, 60-60, 60-57 area for a potential rejection and a double top. But I think my higher probability, it will be if we get back over this 200 moving average, which is the purple line, and then I want to look for a break and retest a pre-market high into this area where we can watch for the rejection. So pre-market high 60.31, break and retest. Yesterday's high through to that gap fill area, so our area of demand, supply is around about 60-57 area. Notice the increased volume as we get into that area as well, increased volume, and then we would just outright rejected it. Bounce wise, will keep an eye on the pre-market low, and that's only because it's an area of confidence, which is the highs of these candles before we broke out. So potentially we've got a higher risk bounce at 59.90, this region here for a bounce. And then if we lose pre-market low, then we will be breaking this market structure, and I'll be looking for a break and retest into that area for the short into yesterday's low. And that's it, keeping it pretty much simple. Let's have a look, see what new areas of supply and demand we can keep an eye on. So let's keep an eye on this area here, and then we've got this area here. So what I'm looking for when I draw my zones is I'm looking for big moves, and then looking for the previous change of colour. So when we come down, we can see we had lots of sellers and suddenly the buyers kicked in, so we've got orders sitting down here waiting still. So you can expect if we come back down into that region, we may have more orders watching for the bounce. So that's an area to watch for a potential bounce at 59.60. And I think that's it really, and keep it really simple. A+ setups only, and these are the ones I mentioned. Break and retest. Part of my back testing, what I really want to back test is these break and retest of pre-market high and low. Whether we get a better break and retest if we're in a downtrend, or whether we get a better break and retest if we're in an uptrend. So for example, will the break and retest pre-market high be more profitable than a break and retest of pre-market low in an hourly uptrend? I'll also backtest the daily uptrend as well. So, oh, I'm not sure where all this is coming from. I have no idea how that was drawn. There we go. It's probably the shortcuts I use for my pen. Let's clear that. Oh, that's weird. Let's clear that. Okay. So, does it clear work now? No, something's changed. I don't like it when things change. Shortcuts have changed. Okay, so I'll look at that later. So that is that is my plan for today. I'm going to watch for higher probability break and retest of pre-market high. I'm going to look for the rejection up in this region of overhead supply. We got an area of confidence just there. Last time we were here, we had this big move. So I'm going to watch for a potential bounce at pre-market high area. If we lose that area, then like I said, we've broken this market structure, and I'll be looking for a break and retest. And then watching for potential bounce down here at 59.60. Let's flick over to the order flow screen to see whether there's anything happening in the market right now. How weird, my shortcuts for my pen are not working. Let me just reload. Okay, so cumulative delta has been steadily increasing. We're in the positive numbers as well, and the price is also steadily increasing. Notice as the price pulled back, cumulative delta kind of went sideways, but nothing really to look into. It all looks as expected in a bit of an uptrend. So what I'm looking for is cumulative delta divergence. So that is when price is increasing, I'm looking for a divergence where delta is decreasing. That is what I'll be looking for when I get typically near to the end of one of the levels we're watching. Okay, so I'm not quite sure what's going on with the pen. Okay, so let's go back to my main screen, just go through today's other levels, and I'll let the pen reload. I don't know why it's not working. SPY, it's pretty much the same as ES. We have another gap down today. We can keep an eye on this yesterday's high area 600 for a rejection, but a break and retest for pre-market high at 59,598.50 area for the break and retest long could be a area to watch. We will be above the 50 moving average as well at that point. Okay, I'm not quite. I still can't clear my. That's fine. So we've got the 50 moving average. This red line. So if we can break above that area, look for a break and retest long into this region where we watch for either take a target or we look for rejection. Keep an eye on this point of control, this volume shelf as well, which is just above. There's that around 601, this region here, and then we do have a bounce area. Same as we talked about on ES. Could watch this pre-market low area 596. Don't have much volume, so it's probably not as good as ES. And right now, yeah, no, I don't like it on SPY. So the only place I'm watching for is a bounce down in this area of potential demand, which will be this region here. Watch 590 to 592 for the bounce, and I think that's it. SPX. Good morning, Charles. Thank you, appreciate your comment. Yeah, I find it quite important to set goals every month. In fact, we have a trading group where there's like 4 or 5 of us. We sit down, we go over our monthly goals, we go over the previous month's goals as well, and then we kind of remain accountable to each other. I'm looking at potentially creating another Discord, a public one. That's a private. We do that on a private Discord, but I'm looking to set up a public Discord where we can be even more accountable. I put all my goals out there in public as well. You know, I've got nothing to hide. If you have a bad month, you have a bad month. If you have a good month, you have a good month. But it'd be good to have it public so that it can be taken into consideration. So once I've got the Discord working, maybe you might want to join as well and try and encourage others to put their monthly goals in place, because being held accountable, I think, is quite important, especially when we all trade on our own. Going over SPX, we had this level which broke yesterday, big gap down, and then we're coming back up. We didn't quite gap fill. We did on ES, we filled a gap, so that rejection was a good rejection. So today we can watch the continuation of this gap fill, 60-30 area, 60-40. Otherwise, let's clear that. Any new levels? We've got this area here. Let's just add that in. So new level 59.81. What are we doing? We sold off for a bit, didn't we? So we might be opening out a little bit below that. So keep an eye on that level. The reason I like it is the area of confluence. Bottoms of these pivots and candles, bottoms of all these candles, and it's a gap fill over here, and also it's the start of a volume shelf as well. I know it's not the most amount of volume, but you can see it goes from hardly any volume up to more volume. So that's an area to watch. So keep an eye on that area. And look at that low we set yesterday. We had that level set as well, and it came right into that area. 59.32 was that? No, we wouldn't have seen that because I had to guess where it was going to open. So we put that level in, pretty much spot on again. So the levels work. So keep an eye on SPX because these levels do hold. Even we were in the pre-market, we were still up here from Friday, and it came right into that 59.32, and we saw that big bounce. Okay, NQ next. Did fill the gap and then rejected it. I think that in aftermarket, I think it was, yeah, 6 PM. And then we lost it again in the post market. So what I'm looking for in NQ, I quite like this region where we've got all this volume, and we've got the point of control running right through. Just keep an eye on this 21.560 to 21.534 area for a rejection. Keep an eye on a break and retest off the pre-market high. We've got a little bit of room up into this region here, not as much as ES. And then obviously if we break pre-market low, then we'll be breaking that market structure, and we can expect to move, well, I like to think we can expect to move down. So keep an eye on break and retest of pre-market low, which is around 21.320. And I think that's pretty much it. If we get down here, we would have too much of a big move. There's an area of demand down there, but we can go in that when we get closer to it tomorrow. And we do have this area of demand. It's a big area. In fact, I just realised I'm on the 15-minute, but that's fine. I like to draw my areas on the hourly and then kind of refine it on the 15. But 15-minute hourly is all the same. The levels are the same. That's an area of demand. We can watch 21.20 down to 2100, that area, and we've got yesterday's low in that area. Let's go back to the hourly because I do prefer the hourly when I'm just having a quick overview. And you can see now we've got our fine-tuned supply and demand areas. So keep an eye on the break and retest of pre-market high. Like I said a minute ago, it's got a little bit of a room before we get to tomorrow. Yesterday's high, and an area of confidence, and we've got the volume above as well. QQQ, big gap down, filled the gap, and another gap down, back up to that gap fill area from yesterday. This area here I do quite like for a bounce. Pre-market low. The reason I like that area for a bounce is because we've got gap fill, I meant tops of pivots, bottoms of pivots there, bottoms of pivots, then we had that gap down, came back up, retested, and then pushed up, and then we came back down and opened up in that place as well. So I do quite like the bounce here, but if we lose that area, then I break and retest. 51708, so keep an eye on 517 for the bounce. Obviously pre-market high, break and retest long. We are going long into the point of control area and into this little bit of area of confluence. So keep an eye on that at 522 is a potential target, or it's also a potential rejection area. And I'm pretty sure if we go down to the 15-minute, we should be able to find, well, this is an area of demand, supply just here as well, 522. Oil looked like it wanted to change direction, putting in this, I started to curve around and then broke out, came back down. Could say that's a retest of that trend line, which is, in fact, let's draw that trend line in a bit longer. It's an actually smack bang on retest. And when was that? That was yesterday. I did say keep an eye on the break and retest, and that was smack bang on. We had a level there as well, big area of demand, plus all these pivots, so we're in a great bounce area for scalp even. And then it broke down, held it, and then broke and retested. So that's a key area, this 72 area, so keep an eye on that. If we can get back up into 72, then I'll be looking for a rejection in that area, back down. Otherwise, trend continuation, pre-market low, break and retest at 70.71. I'm not gonna, it's gonna be hard to break and retest a pre-market high against the trend, but we can keep an eye on that as a higher risk potential trade. Gold is in this nice big healthy uptrend. You can see this quite clearly here, all coming up. We put in new all-time highs. We'll see where we go today. I do quite like the break and retest of pre-market high and yesterday's high. I want to see it break out of yesterday's high into pre-market high area to continue the trend. Otherwise, if it comes back down and retests this trend line, we can keep an eye on that as well. Maybe keep an eye on this 200 moving average. Otherwise, I do quite like the bounce back down here again, 2800, which is a psychological number. If we lose pre-market low, then potentially we could be losing that line, and we might even be looking at a head and shoulders pattern if that's the case. But let's keep an eye. It's very strong, so there's no shorts really unless we can properly break down that area, come back up and retest it with no follow through to the upside, and then continue down. Otherwise, trend continuation. Would even consider a retest and a bounce back down here at yesterday's low. RTY. How about that? This is a textbook. I love these. These are my favourite textbook. I wish I was keeping an eye on it. The break and retest. In fact, I did okay on Bitcoin. I'll get to Bitcoin in a minute. So by the time I finished trading yesterday, I wasn't interested in taking this rejection. And I think it was after hours as well, was it? Yeah, quite late. So these are the ones I like the most. The breakdown and the retest of these levels, and then come back down. You can potentially look for a continuation under pre-market low, back down into this region. We could also watch for the break and retest of pre-market high, but it's going against this hourly trend a little bit. You can see the hourly is coming like that sideways. Yeah, it's hard. I'm trying to go long into this area or into the point of control is going to be quite difficult. Big area of confluence. Point of controls there. 2300 psychological number. So we can watch this area for a rejection, I think, and that would be the best play for today for me. And then YM, again, look at this, beautiful, brilliant. Look at these levels. We've got the tops of here. We've had this marked out for some time, marked out here, and then we've lost it. It came back up into that region, 44,800, and then rejected again. So let's keep an eye on a rejection back up that area. We've got a little bit of a volume shaft below that level, and that may just see a bit of resistance. Otherwise, keep an eye on the break and retest of pre-market high into this region, and a break of pre-market low back down. And then the only place I'm watching for a bounce would be this 4400 psychological number, and area we just looked at. We've got tops of these candles, bottoms of these candles, bottoms of yesterday and the previous day. So keep an eye on 4400 for the bounce. I think I've got an alert sitting there, yeah, so I'm going to put my alert just above, just so I know to expect it. That's what I'm watching for the bounce. And then Bitcoin. So my trade on Bitcoin yesterday, in fact, I did take another trade on ES, and it was a losing trade, but I kept my stop really tight. and we lost the pre-market low yesterday. I think it was there, and it wasn't even in my trade book. I like to see it come down, pull back up into the pre-market low with an air, I like to call it an air gap there, and then push down. But what really happened, as you can see here, it broke down and then rejected immediately. No air gap, and you don't need to go down onto the 5-minute chart to see that, nor on the 2-minute. And I anticipated by going short there. It came in. I was in the green for a bit. Could have probably scalped it, but I don't really scalp. And it came, and as soon as it took out this area, I just stopped myself out. It should have been a very minor stop, about 0.2R, 0.25 of an R. And I don't know what I did, but when I looked at my P&L, it was positive. So I think I may have probably stopped out too many contracts as it started pushing up, and then I just flattened it all. I could have held it. Obviously, I look back now and say, oh damn, I should have held what I had. Probably would, and I would have done really well, but that was a mistake. And so I ended up turning this losing trade into a fluky green. Not much of a green trade again. It was probably about 1/10 of an R or something, or 1/4 of an R. So it should have been a small losing trade, but it's actually a small winning trade. And it didn't fulfill my rules, and I didn't really consider that as a trade. It's more of a, I was hoping if it can break down and catch it, it'd been great. But if after this big gap down, it just didn't want to go. So I got out, and it should have been, I thought it was about break even, but it was actually more green than break even. But the trade I did do around about the same time was Bitcoin, and I took it on I used a 15-minute on Bitcoin. What's it today? It's the 3rd. So what I was watching for, it was around about here, because I remember holding it through this pain as well. So I went, so it pushed up. No, where's it? The opening. Where's the opening? Oh, it was here. Sorry. So my Bitcoin, 9 AM. So it came up, came back down, and retested this area. So I went long just here. That's my entry, and then I held it through here. I put my stop there, and you can see it pulled back, and I held it through the pain of this, and then I just tightened when it got past here. I just tightened up my stop to that pivot there, and it just pipped me out. What pivot? I think that pivot there, and it just pipped me out there. So when I realised that, I got back in when there was no more follow through to the downside. So I made it. That little buffer there was when I got out and got back in again, and then I just held it then, and I got out. I think it came into this region here, and I got out right up there, over 100,000. So that was a decent trade, a really decent trade. And again, it wasn't really a defined trade, but I was looking for a break and retest, and that's why I was watching the break and retest of this area here. And that's yesterday's low. It's what I'm going to watch today for a potential bounce. So that's my first level on watch, yesterday's low. I'm going to keep an eye on the break and retest of pre-market highs. That would be the 100,000. That's the key area. And I basically waited for the gap fill yesterday on Bitcoin, and that's where I got out. But 100,000 is the key area, and so we're just below it right now. We teased above it, come back down. So if we break over pre-market high and we break 100,000, come back and retest 100,000, then I'll be looking for a long. That's going to be my play. And I think that's it really. Potentially there is a rejection area, massive area, point of control, 102,000. You can see we've held it a few times. We've yet to get above it in the recent days. So hopefully we can push up and start getting back into these all-time high areas again. And that's it. That's my levels for today. The market opens in literally 1 minute's time. So I won't trade anything for the first quarter of an hour, so I'll try and just see what the market does. I will be back tomorrow. I'm away Thursday, Friday and Monday, so I'll try and keep the live streams running, but I won't be in it. I actually will be out of the country, going to the Czech Republic. So if I can get the live streams going, I will do. If not, then I will be trying to remote in to take a look. So I just want to see what the first candle does when the market opens. I might just show you my screen. There's no account numbers on there because I trade a SIM account and then I copy it over to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 Apex accounts, and so I've got 2 of those are paid accounts. The other ones are trials, which I'm just building up slowly. I'm a very slow trader, so I've held these accounts for like 80 odd days, I think. So in fact, this is my copier I use as well. So I use the sim. The sim is my my account I trade from, and then I copy it across all these Apex accounts. Put that back. I like my boxes in their right places. And then if we break, I might even just stay live. If we break over pre-market high and retest this area here, I'll be looking to take the trade. If we lose it, I'll see what the market does in the next few minutes. If we lose it, then I won't be interested until we get down to here. That's why I like to think these are the 2 levels I'm basically watching. These indicators on TradingView are my own indicators I built. I have a few indicators, one which shows me the news. This is one to show me levels, opening range as well. And on my other screen to the left, I keep an eye on the order flow, which is the order flow which I live stream. So I'm kind of watching level 2. I like watching level 2, times and sales, and the order flow, and it just gives you an inside of what the actual candles are doing. So a green candle may not always be a green candle. And that's why order flow is great, because you can see what really is inside these candles. No, not much is happening. I don't mind keeping my screen live for a bit. I'll stay live for a bit longer. It's all about patience, and I've lacked patience over the last few years, and just over the last 6 months to a year I've just started to get better at not taking everything I see like a dog chasing squirrels. Squirrel, squirrel, squirrel. So what we're seeing now, what I'm looking at now is I've got cumulative delta on this chart as well. So we've got increase in cumulative delta, increased volume, but we expect that on the open. This is a 5-minute chart I'm trading. We've got this, look at this pattern. So we've got tighter and tighter, see us getting tighter, 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 and then something's going to break. So this is a 15-minute. I trade off the 60-minute, 15-minute, and I'll try and find my entries on the 5. Occasionally I look down at the 2, but we're looking for it to break out of this area, potentially break and retest of pre-market high. Zoom in a bit. There you go. You can see my trades there from yesterday. So I went short somehow. I don't know how, but I managed to turn that into profit. I must have entered wrong, and I got out when I realised. Immediately got out. But had I held, look at this big green bar, went up all day. And again, a couple of years ago, I probably would have been carried on trading, but now I just think, I made a mistake, get out, reevaluate. It's not in my plan. In fact, that trade wasn't in my plan I took yesterday, the break and retest. So we got 5-minute cumulative delta. You see the bigger candle, bigger volume candle coming in right now, but we're getting no follow through. So we want to see big volume, big wide range candle. If you compare that to the previous candles. As you can see, minimal indicators. I don't worry. All I want to know is if I'm below or above the VWAP and the 50 moving average. And I use the volume profile as well, so I see where the volume is on this chart. Again, you can see it here on the 15-minute. That's where the volume is. So we're kind of above all the volume, or we're kind of trying to come out of that volume. Let me just enable my order buttons. Oh, just in your comment, if you're still here, Charles. Yeah, I cloned my existing Discord, the private one, and I'm gonna set that up so that we can have public access. I put a lot of videos in and lots of resources as well, so it's quite useful, and it'd be good for me to be more accountable as well. When I first started trading, I only wanted to be just trading to myself and kind of hide what I do, but now I'm just happy to be accountable and let everyone see, you know, whether it's a good trade or a bad trade. If it's a bad trade, I'll happily share. If I had a bad day, I'm the first person to moan about it in our private Discord, and have a, you know, it's good to say out loud where you went wrong. Okay, are we going to get the follow through? Probably not. So look at this big volume candle come in. We just couldn't get above this previous pivot. And we've got the point of control for this chart, so that's where the most volume is at the moment as well. That little line, that line where we are now. I will be back in 2 seconds. back, and I apologise for the delay being away, but I've not missed anything at all. So still watching for the break and retest of this pre-market high. However, we do have decline in volume on increase in price. So it's not setting up very well. Right, as there's not much going on, I'm probably gonna close the stream now. Not sure if anybody's here. Let's take a look. No, I don't think there's anybody watching now anyway. Okay.